This warm, sunny weather means a lot of us will be spending as much time as we can outside.
Again, and if you love to garden, it means we're really close to spring planting. Maybe not quite there, but garden guy Dale Kay is live. He's doing some container gardening, and I bet the garden centers are going to be slammed this weekend.
Yeah, I bet they will be, and it's absolutely a little ripper of some weather. I'm in the shade here, but it is absolutely gorgeous. It's very hard not to have some spring vibes. And you mentioned this morning we're going to do a container garden that can handle the cool weather and also take the warm. It's like going to be like 80 degrees tomorrow. Only in Minnesota could it be 80 degrees and then go back to cooler and fluctuate, and that really is the kind of the keys to April weather here. So we're going to talk about some pansies, and yes, you could just go to the garden center and buy a little pansy bowl just like this one. You could be done, and that's absolutely fine. But this morning we're going to actually do a container garden, a little bit more involved, and also incorporating some really fun flowers and plants that will also take those cooler and warmer temperatures. So let's talk about pots first. I'm just going to pop this down. Let's talk about pots first. I like these crescent pots. They're rotationally molded. They're plastic, and the reason why I like them is because they're lightweight. The other thing I like about them is they're actually double wall, so there's actually some insulation there for cooler and also warmer temperatures, and most importantly, they're lightweight. So if I need to get these little beauties into the garage, they're a lot lighter than your heavier ceramic pots. Now this one here had some, looks like had some winter greenery in there, some spruce tips. Because we're just going to do the first container of the season, it is quite okay to leave that existing potting soil in there. I actually will refresh it or take it out when I go to do my true spring and summer containers. And if you need to loosen up that dirt or that potting soil a little bit, that's just fine as well. So the mechanics of the container garden, and I'll kind of take the ears off of Mickey Mouse if you allow me first, and we'll take a look at the one that I got going on over here. So we're actually going to do some height and some different textures and some different flowers. So that's the finished product. But the most important part and the fun part, I guess, are the plants themselves. So let's take a look at some of your choices here. I mentioned pansies, and of course they are absolutely dynamite at taking care or resisting the frost, freeze kind of temperatures. They'll hold their flowers down to about 28 degrees, which is quite cool. Anything below 28 degrees, the container goes into the garage. And then also their little cousin there, the violas, is another great one. A little bit smaller bloom. Here, I'll just pick that bloom off. A little bit smaller bloom, but nonetheless quite hardy. But for flower power, I'll stick with the larger blooms. They're a lot nicer, a lot showier. Then also you can go at your favorite local garden shop and buy some, I call them like landscape ready tulips and daffodils. They've been pre-forced, they're ready to go. So you buy them nice and tight like this and put them into your containers. The other really fun one is ranunculus. It's one of my favorite plants. It almost looks like a peony. It has a very rosette type flower shape. You'll find them in yellows, whites, pinks, and reds. But absolutely a real joy and really kind of a nice pop of color. And then also rounding out some trailing plants, this lemon ball sedum, and being a sedum, it is actually quite cold tolerant. And then finally, I'm going to add some sweet alyssum. And the best thing about sweet alyssum is it's kind of like the namesake. It has a very sweet fragrance. So quite nice when you have some fragrance at your entryway. From there, it's really just the mechanics. Oh, dropped him. It's really just the mechanics of putting the flower garden together. I've got my juncus, which is my whole plant there. I'm going to add in some pussy willow branches, and you could add in some crabapple branches, forsythia branches, but pussy willow has these nice little catkins that are just ready to explode, and they'll show a little bit of extra color too when they kind of pop open. We'll just put those around the juncus, and then it's just a matter of adding my plants. I've got my ranunculus. It's really kind of one of those old-fashioned plants actually, and it's a bulb as well, so you could actually lift this and store the bulb. That's quite nice. We'll put some daffodils in the back for some extra height. Oh, and it feels so nice. It feels so nice to have your hands in the ground. Now this is what I call like a 606 because there's 6 of them there. This is a perfect kind of transplanting size pansy to plant. Of course, I mentioned the bowls for instant color, but these are relatively inexpensive, and you get about 6 plants, or you do get 6 plants per. So they'll just go in. Oh, super nice, super showy. It even feels, so it feels like so springy. There we go. Then I'm just going to pop in my other ranunculus to balance out my container. My sedum. This will trail over the edge. Pop that in. And then last but not least, my sweet alyssum. Ooh. It's almost like a little bouquet of flowers. That's so nice.
Dale,
That
look
is
how
nice.
quickly you whip that together. That
There
would
we
take
go.
me
Nice
all
and
day.
easy. Super quick, super easy, and like a nice, fun little planter, spring planter that you can plant right now. And of course, they will last warmer and cooler temperatures. Back to you.
Thank you, Dale, because we know it's going to get cool this weekend. He did that in like two and a half.
So I was just saying that would take me so much time. Dale, you're a star. Thank you, and enjoy your little ripper of a day.
Ripper. Thanks, Dale.